Today I'm going to show you how to make a lobster surf and turf. Perfect because Valentine's Day is coming up, so this is a perfect recipe for a little at-home date dinner night. So first we're going to do a dry brine for our steak because it's a little date night, so we're going to get fancy. So we're going to take some kosher salt, not table salt, kosher salt. We're going to sprinkle it over the steak. Get each side too. This helps tenderize the steak. So now we're gonna put it in the fridge for like 15 minutes. Don't go over 20 minutes or your steak's gonna be really, really salty. So now the steak's in the fridge, we're gonna work on our lobster butter. I'm gonna make an Old Bay garlic and herb butter. We're gonna add some butter in a bowl. I'm also gonna soften this up to make it easier for me to mix. So I have 3 cloves of garlic. I'm gonna grate it instead of mincing it, but you can also mince it if you don't have a grater. I'm just gonna grate it in the butter. Herbs, I'm gonna do some parsley. I'm just gonna chop these up, putting this in with the butter, and some chives. I'm gonna chop these up nice and fine in the butter. Zest of 1 lemon. Don't zest the white part because that part's bitter. We're also gonna juice half the lemon too. I'm gonna add a good amount of Old Bay too. Gonna mix this up. Butter for our lobster's done. Now bringing the steak back out. You can see the moisture came to the top because of the salt. That's what we want. We're gonna pat this, get some of that salt off too. So I pat it dry and got some of the salt off. There's still some, I want to keep some salt. I'm gonna let the steak sit out just on the counter for about 30 minutes. We want it room temperature. So now we're gonna prep the lobster tails. You need some kitchen shears, and what we're gonna do, we're just gonna cut along the shell, but we're stopping at the tail. We're not gonna cut through the tail. As we cut down the middle, we're going to kind of detach the meat from the shell with our fingers. Right, so once the meat's detached from the shell, you're gonna take the meat, and then once it's at the tail, you're gonna place the meat on top of the shell. So it looks like this. So these lobster tails are about 9 ounces. Now we're gonna take our Old Bay garlic and herb butter, and we're literally just gonna put it all over that lobster meat. They're going in the oven at 400 degrees. I'm gonna start at 15 minutes, and I'll see if they're done by then. If not, we'll just play it by ear. Or by time. So now it's steak time. I'm gonna be basting my steak in some thyme, rosemary, and like 4 garlic cloves. So we have our steak, make sure we add some black pepper to it as well. So I'm gonna add some oil. Putting the heat on high, we want a nice hot pan so we can have a nice beautiful sear. Now that our pan's really hot, we're gonna add our steak. We're gonna put it down facing away from us. Don't touch it for a minute. After a minute, we're gonna flip it. Another minute. Now we're gonna get the sides just for a few seconds. Time to baste. Add your butter, your garlic, rosemary, thyme. I'm making the smoke alarm go off. For the next 3 minutes, you're just gonna be basting. Now we're gonna remove the steak and let it rest for like 5 to 10 minutes. Lobster's all done. Gonna add more of that butter on top of the lobster. Roasted asparagus, steak, lobster tail. And that's how you make a surf and turf.
Got this beautiful looking surf and turf dish. Look at that. Smells good. Pepper black. Nice and tender, juicy.
Go Antoine. Go Antoine.
Try some lobster. Not really a huge seafood person, but we're gonna try it. It look good.
I mean, if you don't eat it, I will, so.
Not bad. Beautiful, wonderful dish. Anybody that loves seafood with the steak, great combination. I give it 100 out of 10. Because this is made with love. You can't go wrong with food made with love.
Thank you.
Perfect dish for Valentine's Day. Look at that. Beautiful.